Hello again, all. So, let me just find this for you. So, this is the material I've posted to the LMS. In the previous video, I've explained how we're going to run the class for week 8 in our Zoom class. We'll be practicing this conversation. Please read through this. We'll go through this grammar focus in this video, and you have to answer these questions in practice with your partner. So, the grammar review, using much and many. Very simply, much is used for uncountable nouns, things that are not counted, usually liquids, right? Or things like flour, milkaru is not counted. Do you have much flour? Money, time. So usually things that are fluid, that move around. Many are things that we can count. So paper is uncountable, but pieces of paper is countable. Bottles of milk. Pharmacies in your neighborhood. So these are the examples I'd like you to read through. How much money have you got? How many dollars have you got? How many coins have you got? Right. So informal answered, a lot of, lots of. I've got a lot of money. I've got lots of coins. I've got a lot of crime in my area. I've got lots of pharmacies in my neighborhood. So that's the small point, right? I've gone on to expand it down here a lot more. So I get you to read through this, right? Change is janton. I haven't got much change, so coins and small money. Right? I've only got a 10 euro note. I've only got an omanon note. Note is one piece of paper. Are there many campsites near you? Are there many cafes near you? So when it becomes interesting for us is when we use questions and negatives, right? Is there much employment? Are there many cafes in your neighborhood? Is there much unemployment, people with no jobs? Is there much crime in your area? Are there many parks in your area? Is there much air pollution in your area? Would be a good question. So, going on, much of, many of. Right? So much of is what part? How much of this book is enjoyable and how much is boring? How much of Simon's class is fun and how much is tiring? Not many of the photographers were there. I haven't been to many of the cafes in my neighborhood. I haven't been to many of the restaurants in my neighborhood. So always we're trying to personalize and relate it back to what we can say about our lives, so to make it more communicative. Right? This is less related to our learning outcomes, but still interesting. So using your fingers, you can say this much cake. I only had that much cake. A lot of and lots of often can get confused by non-native speakers. I've got lots of things to do. That's a lot of money. There weren't a lot of choices. Can you hurry up? I don't have a lot of time. Have you eaten lots of chocolate? Have you been to? So we use the past perfect here, talking about experience. Have you been to lots of restaurants? Negative questions. Right? So this is also maybe difficult. Haven't they sold many tickets? Haven't you been to many places? No, I haven't. Is there much food left? Are there many apartments empty? Aren't there many empty apartments in your neighborhood? would be a good question. I'll get you to go through and read this for yourself. This should be quite clear. It took me a while to write this up. We also can reflect on the comparatives we looked at last week. Much older, much faster. Too many, too much, so many. There are so many, which is often tempting for non-native speakers to say. There are so many cafes, for emphasis. Right? I've eaten so much Deju Kukbap these days. He has so much money. Right? And as much as many as. Right? You can read this as many times as you like. Try to find out as much information as you can before you start your class this week. And I've included some typical errors that non-native speakers often make. Oops, here are my children. Okay, so it doesn't need many effort is wrong. It doesn't need much effort. There are a lot of monuments, a lot of historical buildings. Not lots of buildings, lots of restaurants. A lot of restaurants is more correct. Okay, when you go through and finish reading up about that, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me.